I'm all done with work, just got back home. What about you, Andrew? Will you be coming home soon?
Sorry, I won't be home until very late. Working overtime today because I still have a lot of work I need to get done. You can go ahead and eat dinner without me. I'll be fine.
Okay, got it. Good luck with your work. Although, you've been working a lot of overtime lately, haven't you? That's gotta be exhausting. Don't push yourself too hard.
Yeah, I know. I've been assigned to this new project, but it's a bit more challenging than I expected. I'm a little stuck on a few different things, but I gotta keep working at it. Also, I feel bad that I've been leaving you alone to take care of all the housework lately. I know we both work, but it's still a lot to handle, so I'm really sorry.
It's alright. It's not your fault. Work is work, so don't even worry about it. I get home earlier than you do most days anyway, and I enjoy cooking for us, so I don't mind at all. I'm not entirely good at cleaning up around the house, though.
I can at least help with the cleaning on my days off.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks.
On a different note, I actually have something I need to talk to you about, Layla.
Oh, really? What's it about?
I was gonna tell you in person after I got home. But since I have no idea what time I'll be able to go home tonight, I figured I'd mention it to you now.
Sure, what's up?
My parents asked me if we would like to move in with them.
Huh? Why would they bother to ask that? Didn't we promise each other when we got married we wouldn't have to live with either of our parents? So why now?
Yeah, I know, but I'm not too sure either why they decided to ask me now about it. But it kind of just happened. Well, I guess if I had to give you a reason, it could be that they're worried about living by themselves since they're getting old.
Well, I mean, my parents are just as old as your parents and they're still living together just fine. So, did you give them an answer? How did you respond to them?
I told them that we weren't thinking about it, but that we would keep an open mind to the possibility of that happening in the future.
Okay, but you do plan on turning them down, right?
Well, of course I'm gonna say no to them. But you never know what will happen. They can be quite rash on making their own decisions about this kind of thing.
Oh, really? I had the impression they were okay maintaining some distance between us.
We've only been married for 2 years. So I think it's safe to say that you have no idea what my parents' true personalities are like just yet. There are only so many interactions you've had with them, since we only meet up with them as a whole family just a few times a year.
I get what you're saying is technically true. We certainly don't meet up with them often despite living relatively nearby, but I think I have a good enough understanding on what their personalities are like from the times I've gotten to talk to them. It's a little strange to me that they just mention living together out of the blue like that.
See, this is what I'm trying to tell you. You don't get it. They're the type of people to say outrageous things like that on a whim. And once they get started, they're really persistent in doing things their own way.
Then even more reason to make sure to tell them no, right? There's really no reason why we need to live with them, so just simply tell them we don't want to. It probably was just something they said out loud and without really thinking too much about it anyways. I don't think they actually meant anything serious behind it.
But they told me to take some time to think it over, so they seem pretty serious about it to me.
Still, you gotta turn them down. What more is there to even think about? If my parents suddenly asked us to go live with them, you wouldn't like that, would you?
Your parents don't even live in the same state, so that will most likely never happen.
Yeah, but hypothetically, what if they asked us to move states just to live with them?
Well, that does sound a bit uncomfortable for me. I don't see why that's necessary.
Right? So I don't get why you're overcomplicating this. Anyway, make sure to tell your parents that we're not interested in living with them. Otherwise, I might just end up running away from home instead.
Oh, don't do that. You don't have to go that far. I'll talk to them when I get the chance, so don't go anywhere.
Then let me know how it goes. I would like an update by tomorrow.
You want me to do it that soon?
Well, how long do you need? It's not like we can keep them hanging forever. The sooner you tell them, the better. Matters like this need to be communicated as quickly as possible. If you take too long, they might get some false impression that it might actually happen, and you don't want to lead them on for nothing.
Okay, I got it. I'll stop by their house for a short visit after I get off from work.
If it makes you feel better, I can go with you if you want.
No, that's okay. I can go by myself. Plus, I don't want to make things extra weird. I'll handle it, so don't worry about it. Hey, Layla, sorry to bother you in the middle of work.
It's okay. I'm just doing a little bit of work on my day off, so I'm a bit flexible on time right now. Just had some lunch and now I'm taking a short break. What's up, though?
Here's the deal. My parents invited me over to visit them, and so I went over to their house to see them earlier just now. And I think there might have been some slight miscommunication. First of all, let me just say I am sorry.
Why? What happened?
My mom and dad decided that we'll be living together after all.
What? How did this happen? Didn't you go to see them like a month ago to turn down their proposal?
I did talk to them about it then, but it seems like they didn't take no as my answer.
I thought you said you were going to handle it. Well, what are we supposed to do now? How can they just decide this on their own without our approval? I was very clear when I said I didn't want to do this at all since the very beginning.
I really did try, but it's almost impossible to change their minds now. I feel terrible about it. I'm really sorry.
I don't even know what to say. This just sucks. Absolutely terrible. If we live with them, I'll have to make sure I clean up everything and take on more errands and do all sorts of things around the house. I'll at least have more chances to cook for the family. But we both have jobs to worry about, and I can't be a proper housewife if I'm working at the same time.
They're fully aware of that and said it's actually okay with them. My mom even said that she'll support you as much as she can while you continue to work. She is perfectly fine taking care of all the household chores so that you don't have to worry about it.
That's not the main issue here. It's the living with your parents factor that I'm mostly concerned about. If you think about it from my point of view, I have to be mindful of how I act and how I present myself in front of them. It's just nerve-wracking.
Yeah, but on the bright side, just think about how all the dinner preparations will already be taken care of by the time you come home from work. Imagine my mom's fresh homemade cooking ready to eat the second you step through that door. Doesn't that sound great? You said you really liked my mom's cooking, didn't you?
It's true. Your mom deserves credit for that. She makes some of the most delicious meals I've ever tasted. But I still never agreed to this cohabitation arrangement. I mean, you're not even going to consider how I feel about all this? Can I at least be part of the decision-making?
That's why I'm telling you about it now. But I don't think we can do anything about it at this point.
And why is that?
Because they've also decided that they're going to remodel their entire house to accommodate this new living arrangement. They want to expand it and build a duplex so that everybody can fit comfortably. They already set the plan in motion, so it's a bit too late to change their minds.
They even decided that on their own too, without our consent?
Well, it's not like I had a choice. They told me if we don't agree to live with them, they'll cut ties with us completely.
Wait a minute. This is ridiculous. Isn't this a bit unfair? They can't just do whatever they want like that. This is way too one-sided.
I'm sorry.
If they think they can just casually make threats like that, then I don't mind cutting off our relationship with them either.
Hold on now. I know deep down you don't mean that. I don't want my parents to just disown me like that.
Your parents said it first, not me. I absolutely do not approve of this way of doing things.
Would you be willing to try it out, even just for a little bit? If you absolutely cannot put up with it even after trying it out, then we can leave. But I think we should at least show some effort and see what happens. Who knows, this could actually be a good thing for us.
This feels like I'm being cornered into accepting a halfway compromise, and it doesn't feel great, to be honest with you.
I'm their only son, so I do feel some sense of obligation to respect their demands, even if it might seem selfish of them. Layla, you have an older brother, so you can understand a little bit the expectations parents have for their oldest son.
That's true, but it's not an easy decision for me to make.
I will be there with you at all times, so don't worry so much.
Oh, really? That sounds hard to believe. You barely come home on time as it is because you work so much overtime.
By the time we move in with the parents, my workload will definitely lighten up and I'll be able to go home on time. So, what do you say? Are you in? If it helps, just try to think of it as me fulfilling my filial duties to my parents.
I still don't feel right about this.
Well, just so you know, I already paid up front for some of the costs of the house remodeling. So, it's not like we can say no now. We're already roped in financially.
What? We're paying for it? With what money? Oh, don't tell me you withdrew the money out of our savings account.
Well, I can't just make my parents pay for all of the expenses on their own. A house remodeling is going to cost a lot. And since we'll be living in it as well, it makes sense that we contribute a little towards the cost. Don't worry too much though, we won't be paying for all of it. My parents said that they'll pay 2/3 of the total cost.
You and your parents are totally disregarding me on these extremely important decisions. I can't believe you went ahead and did that without my permission.
It's not like we're ignoring you on purpose. It was an expenditure necessary for our future life together. Oh, come on, Layla. Why do you hate the idea of living together with my parents that much? What can I do to make this easier for you? We don't have any kids yet, and we're both working full-time jobs. If anything, I think you could benefit more from this situation, considering all the housework that needs to be done on a daily basis.
That's easy for you to say since they're your parents, but to suddenly move in and live with them is a huge change for me, so it's a lot to process mentally.
It is a huge change, but you're not alone in feeling that way. We all might have some concerns and worries at the beginning, but we can learn to adjust as we go. It's a team effort.
Well, sure, but I don't want to cause unnecessary friction or anything like that. After all, our life routines are different from theirs, so I don't want to offset anybody's normal rhythm. I think your parents will feel very similarly, so unless you have a better reason as to why we have to live with them, I don't see why we need to. I want to keep living with just the two of us alone.
Surely there are some advantages, don't you think? For starters, you won't have to worry about paying rent each month.
Forget the rent. I'm more concerned about the mental toll this will have on me.
You're a strong woman. You can handle this. My parents really like you too. I think that's why they wanted us to move in together in the first place.
Okay, I get it. You don't have to continue explaining. Just let me think about it.
Well, you don't need to think about it. It's already been decided.
My head is all in scrambles. I can't even think properly at the moment. I have work to do, so in the meantime, just give me some time to cool my head off and I'll revisit this whole conversation with you later. Where are you now? Are you on the way home?
Not yet. I'm about to go meet up with a friend and hang out for a bit.
Okay, let me know when you're on the way then.
We're gonna go out for a couple of drinks, so I'll probably get home around 8 p.m. I'll eat dinner while I'm out as well, and then head home from there.
Okay, we have to have a proper discussion about the moving situation sooner or later, though.
Yeah, once I get home, we can talk about it. But just letting you know, I have no control over what my parents do. For your own peace of mind, I hope you can come to terms with it as soon as possible.
Hi, Mrs. Williams. This is Layla. It's been a while since we last spoke. Sorry to disturb you if you're in the middle of doing something.
Hi, Layla. Long time no speak. You're not disturbing me at all. You can message me anytime. I'm not doing much at the moment anyways. Decided I'm not gonna cook for dinner and order food for delivery instead, so I'm just taking it easy at home, relaxing and resting.
Oh, that sounds good. I actually wanted to talk to you about something.
Is it perhaps about living together?
Yeah, about that. I'm afraid it might be a bit difficult if we all moved in together. Andrew and I both work, so if we move out of our current place, our driving commute would be longer than ideal. And more importantly, I don't want to burden you with the extra household responsibilities in the event we aren't able to immediately take care of our own chores. I'm sure there are other times when you feel overloaded with just even one person's share. I feel like we'll be troubling you with a lot of things, so if you want to reconsider your decision on this matter, I think that it would be better for all of us going forward.
That's weird. What makes you say that? I thought you were the one who brought up the idea of wanting to live together.
Huh? Did I? When?
At least that's what Andrew told me. For the past month, I've also been worrying about how this could work out for everybody. There's no need to force yourself to do this if you don't want to. I mean, children usually don't live with their parents once they become adults, and especially so after marriage. It's not like I had any particularly fond memories of when we used to live together as a family with that child of mine. So initially, I didn't feel inclined to move forward with this, and I even refused his proposition when Andrew asked me about it.
This is completely different from what I heard. Then what about what you guys said about breaking off our relationship if we didn't agree to move in together? Because that's what Andrew told me.
Couldn't be me. I thought you said something like that. You couldn't stand being made to do all the chores by yourself, and that you would divorce him if he didn't ask you to move in to help reduce your workload.
No way! I would never say anything like that. When I talked to Andrew about it months ago, I told him that I couldn't do it and asked him to decline. But then today, out of nowhere, he said that the decision to move in together was official and that your house is getting remodeled for it.
So what I'm hearing is Andrew used us as excuses to each other to get us to live together. That's so suspicious of him.
Suspicious indeed.
Did he have to make up lies like that? I don't understand that boy at all sometimes. Why would he do something so complicated?
Then, can I ask you a favor? Do you mind keeping quiet about this to Andrew? He's up to something for sure, but I need to find out what it is. And just to make sure, is what he said about the house remodeling true?
Yeah, Andrew said he's taking care of all the arrangements for that. However, we're supposed to provide the expenses for it, but that's the extent of what I know.
Did you give him the money for it yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, good. If that's the case, please don't give him any money. If you can try to delay it as long as you can, that'd be great. I'll look into what he's up to and find out what's going on.
Okay, I'm completely on board with this plan. You have my full support. Let me know if there's anything else I can do to help.
I will. Thanks so much. I'll get back to you as soon as I have more details. You'll be the first to know. Hey, Andrew. What time will you be coming home today?
I'm not sure yet. Why? What's up?
It's about living with your parents.
This again? I thought we were way past talking about it. Is there something else you're still pondering about? I already told you everything that needed to be said. If you're about to tell me that you still hate this idea, I honestly don't want to hear it.
No, that's not what I was going to say. I was just going to ask you how the house renovations are going. Has all the contract work been decided on and everything?
Oh, so it was about that. I've decided on a contractor already, but so far it's just been a bunch of meetings with them to talk about the finer details. We haven't started on the physical work just yet.
Oh, okay, good to know. So where did the money for the remodeling payments go? You know, the amount you took from our savings account?
What do you mean? I already paid the contractor in advance with that money.
That's weird then. I heard from your mother that it's already been paid in full by your parents.
Huh? Did you talk to my mom recently?
Well, I mean, your parents are paying for a huge percentage of the cost, so the least I should do is call them to thank them, right? And when I did, your mom said they will pay for the entire cost, so naturally I was wondering why you needed to take the money out of our savings.
Actually, it wasn't enough money. Turns out the initial quote was a huge underestimate. And I felt bad to ask my mom and dad for more money on top of the money that they'd already given me. so that's why I took some money out of our savings account.
All right then. Where are you right now?
I'm at work.
Are you sure about that? There's not some girl you're cheating on me with? In a new apartment that you're staying at? You used the money to pay for all the secret moving expenses and rent for the new place, didn't you?
What in the world are you saying?
Oh, don't act like you don't know. I have some credible intel on what you've been up to for the past 2 weeks.
Excuse me?
You've been having an affair on me these past couple months. You were gonna get me to live with your parents and somehow use that as an excuse to get rid of me, weren't you? I seriously can't believe you. You should have just told me honestly from the start. I'll get a divorce if that's what you want.
Layla, just calm down for a second.
I am calm.
It's not what you think. I'm not cheating on you with anybody. I'm just helping a friend move. That's all.
You're still playing dumb with me? I have concrete proof, you know.
Proof of what?
If you must know, I have this photo of you and your girlfriend holding hands in front of the new apartment you just moved into. And some audio recordings that I don't even want to get started on because it'll just make me profusely angrier. Either way, I have conclusive evidence that you're guilty, so don't even try to deny it.
Layla, I'm sorry. But it's just a misunderstanding. It's not exactly an affair. I'm just casually hanging out with her.
Are you even hearing yourself right now? A married person hanging around with another girl behind their wife's back is an affair, you idiot! What do you mean that's not cheating?
I've only met up with her a few times. It's not that serious of a relationship. I won't see her anymore anyways. So don't quickly jump to conclusions like getting a divorce.
But you're the one who wants the divorce to happen, don't you? I bet you were just waiting for me to run away myself the moment I couldn't put up with living with your parents. You never even planned to come home on time after moving in with them, did you? You thought you could get away with it. Remember that audio recording I mentioned earlier? It revealed all your true thoughts. I clearly heard everything about this conniving plan of yours.
How is that even possible?
While you were just casually holding hands with her and walking down the street, you were just chatting away without thinking of your surroundings. Does that ring a bell to you now? About a week ago when you went to that barbecue restaurant?
No way.
Did you really think you wouldn't be found out as a bad guy if you did all this roundabout plotting behind my back? I am truly disgusted by you.
Layla, look, I know this looks bad, but I promise you I won't be seeing her anymore. Besides, we've been arguing a lot lately, and our values don't really seem to align.
So what? You're gonna break up with her and try to get back together with me like nothing happened?
That's what I would like to do. We can forget about the whole living arrangement with my parents if that's what you want. And to be honest with you, that girl is nothing compared to you. I don't know what I saw in her to begin with. She can't really think for herself and has no sense of independence at all. I guess all she had going for her was her youthful spirit.
Is that so? Are you trying to tell me that you cheated on me because she was young? That's all it took for you, huh? Are you done mocking me?
I'm not mocking you. I was just trying to be open and honest with you. I've been having serious regrets lately. And I'm also just worried about the possibility of seriously breaking up with you. I really don't want a divorce.
You don't seem worried at all, though. You're with her right now, aren't you? So how can you tell me with a straight face that you'll actually break up with her?
No, it's true. I'm not with her right now. I already left her and the apartment. I promise you, my relationship with her is completely over, so I won't meet up with her ever again.
Oh, really? You were able to end it that quickly? So how does that explain why I haven't seen you come out of the door since entering in together with her? It doesn't add up. There's no way I could have missed you leaving because I'm standing right in front of your apartment.
What the heck?
By the way, your mom and dad are standing here with me too. Now that we've all gathered, why don't we go and talk with the whole family? I'll speak for myself this time, so let us in.
What are my parents doing over here? Shouldn't we discuss it between us first?
Why is that? So you can manipulate my words around later to your parents? And how would that turn out to be any different than the first time we tried to talk about something between just the two of us? Besides, don't blame me for bringing in your parents. You got them involved in the mess yourself. I'm not putting up with your foolery anymore. Don't think you can run away from taking responsibility.
Layla, forgive me. I'll admit it, I did something really stupid. I'm sorry. Really, really sorry.
It's too late to apologize. In any case, I'm so done with you, and so are your parents. If anybody should be coming to terms with anything, it's definitely you. After discussing it with Andrew and his parents, we all agreed it was the right thing for Andrew and I to divorce on all the terms I wanted. The reason why Andrew bothered to take this roundabout way to get a divorce with me is because he knew it would look bad for him, so he thought he could make it look like he was not the one to blame and not get caught for cheating. I suppose he wanted to have a reasonable backstory prepared so that his parents would accept his new girlfriend after breaking up with me. If that was the case, I would have preferred it more if he just outright told me he wanted a divorce. But I guess it makes sense that he didn't. He probably didn't want to be the first one to say something like that. In the end, I'm relieved we got a divorce because he was a good-for-nothing kind of guy anyways. Of course, as part of the divorce settlement, I received alimony from him. He also returned all the money that he took without my permission from our savings account. Because of that, he was struggling to keep up with the alimony payments that he even asked his girlfriend that he cheated on me with for help. And since she felt obligated to help, she asked her own parents to borrow money, which resulted in their affair being revealed to everybody. Their relationship took a turn for the worse, and they ended up splitting up, as expected. She must have felt like a complete idiot for being involved with that loser. But that's not my story to tell. For their sakes and mine, I hope we all can forget about it and move on with our lives. I just pray we won't have to run into each other in the future. For closure, I was very headstrong and conveyed to Andrew everything that I had wanted to say before officially parting with him for the last time. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please press the like button and subscribe to this channel for more content.
Allison, what were Paul's plans for Christmas? He's coming over, right? Yes, that is what he told me, and I don't think that's changed at all. He said he wanted to visit you and everyone back home. That is what I thought from when we last spoke. The last time I heard from him, he said he wasn't sure. He's never clear with his words, that Paul of mine. Well, this time of the year, there's so much snowfall around your area, Mother. It will make it difficult to drive there. Paul says that he wants to go, but it is difficult with the weather and work. The flights could be delayed. Maybe he was just keeping that in mind when telling you? He didn't want to give you a definite answer until he was sure? Well, he should just tell me whether he's coming or not coming. He doesn't need to be so vague. He is never clear with what he says. That boy has always been that way. He barely calls us at the best of times anyway. So I end up having to make you my messenger for what's going on in his life. Sorry. I try to tell him over and over to make sure to message you, Mother. But he never changes. He's always been bad at keeping in touch with people. Even when we were dating, he was always slow to message me back. I don't care about that. I don't care about how he acts in your relationship. Wait a second. Let me get something straight. Do you plan on coming with him to our home? I mean, my husband is returning to his family home. As his wife, of course I will be joining him. Paul agrees with me and said the same thing. Oh no, really? You're actually coming? You needn't go out of your way. You don't have to if you don't want to. Even if you come, you'll just be a nuisance. You would only be in the way. You're such a bother to have over. Father asked me to come. He wanted to see me. That's what he told me personally. And turning him down would be rude now, wouldn't it? My husband said that. He wanted to see you. God, Paul and him share such weird tastes. You're nothing special. I really do wonder what they like about you. It's definitely not something that I see. I wouldn't be able to tell you what they see in me. How about you ask them yourself? That might be better than asking me. Of course I can't do that. There's no way I am asking them myself. They'll just ask if I have something against you again. Or something along those lines. It's always the same. I say something about you and they immediately come to your defense. Gosh, I hate how they do that. I'm sorry. I don't have anything to say. I don't need your empty apologies, Allison. They mean nothing to me. If you're going to apologize, then apologize by divorcing Paul, please. If not, your sorry will just make me mad. Always with the meaningless apologies. You should back them up with action. Please don't say that. You know I can't divorce him. I won't divorce him. Paul and I are in a loving marriage, and I don't see myself leaving him ever. It's not as weak a marriage as to be so easily broken apart. We have a bond. We both trust and respect each other. Since Paul married you, he had to move away from his hometown and leave my husband and I. Do you not feel bad for taking him away from me? He is my son. He should be with me. But Paul and I met after he had left home? Now you're just bending the truth to fit your narrative, Mother. No, he was always a mother's boy. He only ever cared about me. He had always planned to return home eventually. But meeting you made him change his mind. He just had to fall into your hands. Now he doesn't want to return home. I only ever get to see him on Christmas. What kind of mother only sees her son once a year? That's because we live so far from you. It's not on purpose. We simply can't come to see you that often. It's not realistic. It just isn't that easy to visit all the time. You say that, but I bet you're the one putting thoughts into Paul's head, telling him not to come see his mother. I mean, he never messages anymore. What is that about? You've changed him. He was never the type to ignore his mother. And for this long! Well, either way, we'll be home for Christmas. So you will be able to see him soon. And I'll speak to Paul about making sure to call you. Just to make sure he messages you more often. So please, can you make do with that until we visit? It shouldn't be too long now. Do you guarantee it? I don't want to hear empty promises. You make sure that he does visit me. If Paul makes sure to message, then I can get by waiting for a little longer. Only if he messages me. At least that way I won't have to go through the pain of messaging you, too. I'm sick of using you as a messenger. You're so useless at it anyway. Make sure you speak to him. Tell him to message and call more often. Don't worry. I will speak to him. I'll make sure he knows to contact more often. Please take care of yourself, Mother. Your health is important. It'd be a shame to get sick after looking forward to meeting Paul all this time. That would be really unfortunate for you. I don't need you to tell me that. I know how to take care of my own health, and I especially don't need your advice on that. God, you're so annoying. I still don't understand why Paul chose you. Always so annoying and nagging. Allison, when is Paul coming over? You said he would be over soon. It's almost Christmas, you know. You promised me. Why haven't I received a single message from him? Paul is still busy with work. That's why he can't come over yet, and it is probably why he hasn't been messaging. It should ease up after today, so please be patient a little longer. Once he has completed his project, we should have time to visit. So, you'll be coming over tomorrow, then? That's asking a lot. It's going to take a little more than one day to get there. Plus, we need to drop by my parents' home on the way. We promised to see them together before we went to your house. At the earliest, it will take a few days at least. Excuse me! When was that decided? And why does your parents' home come first? That does not make any sense. I'm his real mother. That's just wrong. He should be coming to visit me first. You are Paul's mother, yes. I am not arguing that. but these are my real parents too. They want to see me, and they want to see Paul just the same. They could say the exact same thing that you are. And that's perfect. How about we do this? I don't want you to visit anyway, which is why you don't need to come to my house. You're a nuisance and a bother anyway. How about you go to your home with your parents, alone? Enjoy your time by yourself. That way Paul can come straight here, without you, and I can have my son back. You know that won't happen. Please be reasonable. In the same way Paul's father so kindly wants to see me, my parents want to see Paul just the same. They miss him too. It is just a few days. Please be patient. We will come visit, definitely. Again with the be patient! God, I'm sick of you saying that to me. I waited because you said Paul would message me. But that entire time he only messaged me on that one day. Since then, I heard absolutely nothing from him. How dare you ask me to be patient again? I'm tired of hearing it when you didn't keep your promise with me. You promised to speak to Paul and that he would message me. I told you before, he was busy with work until today, so we could not come over any earlier. And Paul probably wanted to message too. He was coming home late every day while he was working. It really was busy. He couldn't message you every day, of course. That would have been impossible. I barely even got a chance to talk to him, and we live under the same roof. I knew it! You said something to him, didn't you? You made him cut contact with me. Or even worse, you never said anything at all. And just why would you think that? I spoke to him like I said. There is no reason for me to not tell him. I don't get anything out of telling him not to message you. Paul can make his own decisions. He must have just been busy. If you spoke to him, then Paul would want to come home to me. He would understand that his mother's thinking of him. That's why you're getting in the way on purpose. You're trying to stop him coming home, or even messaging his own mother. That's exactly the kind of thing a conniving woman like you would do. Conniving is a strong word, Mother. Honestly, I'm impressed by your imagination every time. I have done nothing to make you think what you're telling me. But you couldn't be further from the truth. I have done no such thing. I am not trying to get in the way. I don't have a reason to. What is that supposed to mean? Are you trying to imply something? Are you saying Paul would choose you over me? I'm his mother. Of course he would choose me first. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. Please understand. Anyway, can you wait a little longer? We will definitely come over to visit. But for now, we have other plans, like letting Paul rest and visiting my home first. How can any plans take priority over his mother? You're clearly making these plans up. I'm getting nowhere with you. I can't trust what you say. Make Paul contact me right this moment. That way, I can hear from him personally. Paul is at work right now, finishing up the busy period. He won't be able to message you. And because of that, it means they're going to be celebrating. He's probably going to be home late today too, which is why it'll be hard to message you back. You have a reply to everything, don't you? The backtalk from you is unbelievable. You're not fit to be Paul's wife. How about I put it this way, in a way that might make you a little happier? What are you talking about? If you're just trying to appease me, I don't want to hear it. What way can you put it that will help? How can you possibly make the situation better? My own son won't come to visit me first. If we clear our schedules before coming over to your house, like after visiting my parents, that means we can spend all of the remaining holiday with you, so you'd have more time with Paul. If we came to your house first, we'd have to leave early, to then go and do all the other things. I guess you're right about that. So the time you wait will mean we can stay longer once we're there. So isn't that a good thing? You have more time with Paul, and we can clear our schedules. Well, when you put it that way, it makes sense. Somewhat. I guess even you say things that make sense sometimes. Thank you very much. I appreciate your understanding. Well, with that, I hope there are no problems. Okay, just this time I'll be patient and put up with you. Thank you for your understanding. Allison, I've had this thought lately. One that you might like yourself. As thanks for you being so good to me, allow me to offer you my thanks. Let me do something for you. Your thanks? Whatever do you mean? Yes, when you come visit, I'll take extra special care of you. I have something planned that you will love. I have your own special room prepared for you to stay in. It's absolutely perfect for you. Isn't that lovely? You have your very own place to yourself where you can stay well away from my Paul. What do you mean, special room? For staying the night? You mean for Paul and I together? Or just me? This is a special room for you, Allison. All alone. It's my thanks to you for being so kind to me all the time. It's separate from Paul's, of course. I want to thank you personally. Well, don't worry about the details. I'll explain it to you when you arrive. Look forward to it. It's a very special place just for you. I am now really looking forward to you coming over. Allison, have you got the drinks yet? We're waiting for them. Hurry on back, will you? It's been quite a while. What are you doing? Apologies, I should have it all. Be back soon, and with alcohol in tow. Is Paul still awake? He drank quite a lot. Ah, Paul, that boy is already soundly asleep. Well, after drinking that much is understandable. He was really putting them down. His father's still drinking, though, so make sure to buy enough for him to have enough. Oh, and extra too while you're out anyway. That's no problem, but are you sure Father's fine drinking that much? He is not as young as he used to be. He already had quite a lot with Paul. Maybe he should stop now that Paul's asleep? Can you blame him? His son finally came home after a long time. He wants to celebrate that old man. Let him have his fun. It's fine every once in a while. Plus, it wouldn't have been such a long time and he would not be drinking so much if someone didn't drag Paul so far away from his home in the first place. Right. Because of you, they're seeing each other after so long. Mother, I think you've had a little too much to drink as well. You should get to sleep too when I get home. I shouldn't be too long now. I'll clean up everything. It's fine. You're the wife. Of course you're going to be cleaning up. Why state the obvious? Do I have to tell you every single thing about being a proper wife for Paul? God, you're as useless as ever. Also, I'm not sleeping just yet. Not until you're back, at least. I still have to show you to your room for the night. The one I prepared for you especially. Oh, that's right. You did mention a room that you had prepared for me. You said it was a special room. Whatever did you mean? That's right. One that is absolutely perfect for you to stay in. You're aware of our shed, correct? The one that's beside the house. I was thinking it has just the room for you. Shed? You mean that tiny building by the house? That didn't look like it was in too good a shape. Well, of course. It's hardly been taken care of. It is basically unused now. Apparently, it has been there since my grandfather's era, which makes it really old. I heard it was last used before he got married. Since then, it has been completely untouched. Hold on. Is that safe to use? Also, it is really cold outside today. And it has been snowing. I'm not sure about staying in that shed. There's heating and insulation in the building, right? In that old shed? Of course not! That building goes below freezing in this weather. The main house, of course, was remodeled when we moved in. That shed hasn't had any work done to it, so it does get very cold. Well, that's not very good. What? Do you have a problem with that? If there's anything amiss, let me know. I was just thinking, if I caught cold from staying in there, I would be such a burden on you. Oh, don't worry. I wouldn't be taking care of you. Oh, and don't bother asking Paul for help. He's out cold, that boy. It's why I made him drink so much. So don't expect him to come to your help. And my husband is completely drunk. So don't expect him to be useful either. Thoroughly prepared as always. I respect that about you. You are at least thorough. What a backhanded compliment. Why don't you say what you really mean? Do you mean to say you have problems with your sleeping arrangements? The ones that I so carefully prepared for you as thanks. No, not at all. I have no problems with that. But are you sure that you're okay with this? Letting me stay in my own big room? Even if it is separate. Using it all for myself feels wrong, you know? Oh, no worries. Don't be so modest. I prepared it especially for you. Although we call it a shed, it is just one small little room. Perfect for a wife like you. Well, when you put it that way, I will take you up on your offer, Mother. When you get back, I'll show you exactly where it is. Before you sleep, make sure you clean everything up, okay? I don't want to wake up to a mess. As soon as you're settled, I am going straight to bed, too. I'll be waiting. Allison, when I woke up, no one was home. No one is here. I can't get through to Paul or my husband either. Where is everybody? Why is nobody home? Good morning. It seems you had a lot to drink last night, so let me get you caught up to speed. No matter what we did, we could not wake you. So we went out with just the three of us. Without me? You left the house with my husband and son without me. Paul and my husband are so cold to me. They shouldn't have left without me. You should have done your best to wake me up. Sorry, you were sleeping so soundly, I didn't want to wake you. Truly, you have such little awareness. No care for how I feel at all. Well, putting that aside, that's not important. More importantly, what about the room? You slept in that room, didn't you? You mean the freezing shed? Of course that's what I mean. I did choose it for you especially. Sorry if staying the night in that cold room made you sick. Well, like I said yesterday, I won't be taking care of you, even if you are sick. Oh no, I'm perfectly fine, thank you. Right as rain. My husband, however, was found freezing in that room in the morning. We had to call an ambulance and are at the hospital right now. Wait, why was Paul... And what do you mean, hospital? What happened? Well, after you showed me to the shed, I went to stay at a different place. What different place? What are you talking about? Where did you stay? At a nearby hotel from your house. It was much more comfortable. I reserved it while I was buying alcohol for everyone. Thanks to everyone being home for Christmas, there was more than enough space. Why would you do such a thing? You went behind my back. After I prepared a room for you. If I had slept in that room, things would have gotten into a big mess. It's just if I said I was sleeping somewhere else, you would have gotten angry, Mother. Paul and father-in-law were sleeping too. I thought if I returned before you woke up, you wouldn't notice. Then why was Paul sleeping there? I made sure to put him in his own room. It turns out, last night he had seen you leading me to the shed. He was wondering why I hadn't come to join him. Paul was awake. When was this? Yes, he was awake, and he was making his way to the bathroom, is what he says. Perfect timing, too. He saw you and I just as we were heading to the shed. So he went to go help me by heading to the shed, too. But apparently he just missed me as I was leaving. He wasn't sure why I wasn't there. But because he was so drunk, he fell asleep there in the shed while he was waiting for me to come back. I bet he thought I was in the bathroom or something like that. So Paul slept out there! Is he okay? How is he feeling? Luckily, he seems to be fine. He just got very cold during the night. Although any longer and it would have been dangerous for his health. He has a checkup in a few days and is staying at the hospital right now. Oh, thank God. If anything had happened to him, I don't know what I would have done. Actually, from what you said, it means that Paul getting into that position is all your fault. You're the one who is to blame. My fault? How would it be my fault? That's right. It's your fault. Because you left and stayed somewhere else without telling anyone. Because you left the house, Paul fell asleep there. If you were there, you could have stopped him. Not only causing problems for your mother-in-law by making me worry, but putting your own husband at risk too by letting him freeze in that cold room. You're a failure as a wife. Forgive me for saying, but I believe the failure is you, mother-in-law. And why is that? The cause of all of this was because you tried to put me in that shed. You're the one who tried to put me in that freezing room in the first place. The one who put our own child at risk was you, Mother. On top of that, that only happened because you tried to hurt me because of your pointless grudge that you keep holding for some reason. As a wife and a mother, you're the real failure. You were the one who put everyone at risk. Who do you think you're speaking to? I am your mother-in-law. You're just his wife. I'm his mother. You do know what comes next, right? Prepare yourself for the consequences. No, you should know what comes next, Mother. I forgot to say, but the text about being a failure as a wife and mother, that wasn't me. Are you trying to run from your own words? That won't work. It's all written there. No, not at all. I don't have anything I need to run from. But the one who called you a failure as a mother was Paul, not me. Those are his words, not mine. And the one who called you a failure as a wife was Father. Once again, those are his words. Do you understand what that means? Are you prepared for your consequences? Do you think I'd fall for such an obvious lie? I know you're just making trouble like you always do. Those two would never say anything bad about me. Mother, please put the situation together. I am currently visiting Paul at the hospital with his father and your husband, who is currently not at your home. And obviously Paul is here by me being treated. My point is, they're reading it all, while next to me. If you could see their expressions. What do you mean, reading it all? Stop spinning lies! You don't mean these messages! That's exactly what I mean. They're reading all of these messages alongside me. Father and I are now going to make our way back home. Paul is going to have to stay at the hospital for a little while, unfortunately. So please prepare yourself for what comes next, Mother. You should probably have a pen ready to sign the divorce papers your husband is bringing home with him. After my father-in-law and I returned home, he put the divorce papers in front of mother-in-law and made his intention very clear to her. My mother-in-law was, of course, against the idea, but after trying to hurt her own son's wife, and because of that, hurting her son due to her actions, leaving him in the hospital for several days, she was unable to make any excuses for herself, and the divorce was decided. Father was never going to take her back after hearing all that she had done. And after a few days in the hospital, my husband cut all ties with his mother. I brought him up to speed with all the ways she treated me, and he was not happy to hear about it, of course. Since the house was technically in her name, she did not lose it in the settlement. However, I bet that big house is very cold without her husband and son. With this opportunity, Paul's dad is now living with us. He's enjoying his freedom at home with his son. Thankfully, made a full recovery and had no lasting issues from the night in the shed. Just an injured image of his mother. Paul and his father both still treat me with the love and care that they always had. Paul's father is always kind to me, and I really love having him in our house. Our marriage is as strong as ever since the incident, and we love our little home away from his evil ex-wife. Paul and I spoke at length about how she was treating me. He was appalled to hear just the kind of things she had said to me. He was truly just busy with work, and he did love his mother until the end. I want to protect this warm house of ours. and never let the cold in again. Thank you for tuning into this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hey, Caitlin. Sorry, you must be busy counting your pennies right now, but I have to talk to you. Seems like our kids played together today. Why did you let them do that?
Oh, Molly. Why did I let them do what now?
Why did you let our kids play together? Why did you let your kids play with my children? You should have asked me for permission first.
I'm sorry. You're saying you want me to get permission from you before you let our kids play together? Your kids and my kids just happened to be at the park at the same time. I didn't know that your children needed your permission to play with other children their age.
Oh no. I have no problem with my children playing with other children their age. I have a problem with my children being forced to interact with poor people like you.
Okay, wow. I can't believe you just said that to me. You know, polite people wouldn't say that out loud, even if it was true. You're really kind of unbelievable.
I'm not joking. I'm just saying it like it is. Some people might not like it, but I don't like to lie. I hear you work from home and that you can't bring in a lot of money.
Yeah, I do work from home.
See? I was right. The fact that you're not a housewife already proves that your husband doesn't make enough to be able to provide for his family. You need to work as well to supplement his income. How sad.
No, that's not why I work. There are a lot of couples that both work nowadays. It's very common. Why do you feel like you have to comment on my situation when practically everyone is working?
I have no problem with women who want to work. There are other mothers in our group who work outside of the home. They all have proper jobs and proper careers. But you don't have either. Not a proper job or career. Working from home is just so unprofessional and secretive. It's like, are you even working or are you just napping on the job?
I don't know what gave you that impression, but people who work from home do their job. It isn't as easy as it sounds.
So it's just like freelancing then. You do know that in the real world, no one takes freelancing as real experience, right? It just doesn't count. Just like how your job doesn't really count. All I'm saying is that if you can't join the club, don't try so hard to keep up with appearances. Take your children, for example. They look poor and they act poor. You can try your best to act rich, but your children give you away.
Please stop. Don't drag the children into this. You can think whatever you want, but just keep it to yourself, please.
Like I said, I just tell it like it is. I know that a lot of people don't like to hear the truth, but that's their problem, not mine. And hey, you don't have to be embarrassed that I exposed you.
I'm not embarrassed, but you have to be careful with your baseless assumptions. And I also think that it's very low that you judge children, too. Any decent human being would leave children out of the argument. Besides, none of this is your business in the first place, but you seem to like to stick your nose everywhere. You need to watch yourself.
Well, look at you. Aren't you acting too high and mighty for your station? You should stay in your lane. I'm just here to warn you to keep your dirt poor children away from my children. I don't want your type to rub off on my babies.
My type? You're acting more childish than any child I've ever met.
What are you trying to insinuate?
Nothing. I said it directly. Your attitude is very immature. Anyway, I don't have time to keep talking to you like this. I already know you've been telling everyone that will listen to you about my family. I'm so tired of having to set the record straight with everyone, so could you please just stop?
I'm just doing everyone a favor by telling them that there's an imposter in our midst. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone needs to know that you have an indecent side hustle in order to continue living in our expensive community. There's nothing indecent about what I do, and I'm not keeping what I do a secret. Why do you insist on judging me and treating me like this?
I just don't like fake people, and seeing you try so hard hurts my soul. If you don't like it, you and your family should move to a place you can afford.
Thanks for the unsolicited advice, but do try to keep that to yourself next time, too. Please stop judging me with your assumptions and leave us alone. Also, let me tell you something that you didn't ask to hear. Just because someone works from home doesn't mean they don't earn a lot of money. You better update your opinion before you embarrass yourself in front of other people. Lastly, keep my name and my family out of your mouth. Don't talk about us. I'm going to stop there because our children seem to get along. Don't drag them into this conflict.
The children are the reason I'm talking to you right now. I don't want them to hang around poor people. It's just not good for them.
Frankly, I think it would be better for children to be able to interact with everyone. Plus, we're not even poor. It would be sad for both our children if they were forced to stop playing together just because you have a problem with me.
I don't see it like that at all. I'm just thinking about what is best for my children.
You think keeping them away from their friends is good for them?
No, but I'm teaching them to be more selective with who they choose as friends.
Actually, now that I think about it, what you said about being selective just reminded me of something. I heard about what your kids brought to the school potluck a few weeks ago.
What about it?
The children were supposed to bring a dish from a country that they selected as part of cultural awareness. I heard that your children brought cold-cut meat sandwiches from the supermarket.
And what's wrong with that? You can't expect me to make a dish from a country that I know nothing about.
Well, I just think you could have put a little more effort into it. The lunch was a part of your children's education. It's not like they were asking you to make it every day.
Ugh, but why would I even have to do that? I don't want to waste my time on some other culture's disgusting food. What if it ends up stinking up my house?
How do you expect to teach your children culture and tolerance if that is your attitude? You could have made it into a fun project where your children and you could learn.
It was a stupid project in the first place. No one wants to eat food that they don't like. I'd rather spend the money on a facial than going to an ethnic restaurant. I don't have time to waste on stupid things like other people's culture. The food just had to be edible, right? It was.
So you'd rather spend money on yourself than on your children? Wouldn't you rather spend that time and money on your children's education?
I already spent a lot on their education. They already go to the best school in this city. And I'm trying to protect them from the influence of poor people. That's why we're even talking right now. So clearly I care about my children.
That's not what I meant.
Please stop changing the subject. Just keep your dirty, filthy children away from mine. Okay?
My children are not dirty!
I do have to say that I feel sorry for them. It's not like they asked to be born into your family. They must feel so sad and jealous when they see all of the other kids at school. My children don't need to know the harsh realities of being poor at their age, so please keep your distance. I'm asking you very nicely to comply.
I can see that our conversation is going nowhere, so I'm done here. If that's what you want, then fine. I'll keep our children apart.
Oh, thank goodness! Finally! That took way longer than it should have. If you want me to stop calling you poor, then you should tell your husband to find a better paying job. Once he gets a better job, you'll be able to afford to dress your children better. Plus, you won't have to work from home. You can get a proper job or even just quit working altogether. Doesn't that sound nice?
Sure. Then I'm not going to renew my contract with Jeffrey, since we're keeping our families away from each other and all.
What? How do you know my husband's name?
I don't have to explain anything. Just stay away from me and my family. I feel bad for our children since they always seem to have fun with each other. But I agree. I think it is best I keep my children away from people that think the way you do about others. We're going to cut off all ties and connections from now on. Just like you asked.
Wait! You mentioned my husband? What's that about? What contracts do you have with Jeffrey?
Just as I thought. You really don't know anything. I'm actually a designer, and I'm actually quite well known in my field.
What? You're in design?
Yes, and I've had several contracts with Jeffrey's company. Actually, he was the person that I talked with the most at that company. We worked on the same projects together several times. We started working together after we met at the park, when our kids were playing together. We got to talking shop, and suddenly we were in business. I bet you didn't know anything about that either. With the way you like to talk about other people, I'm guessing he doesn't trust you enough to talk about his work with you.
How can you be a designer? There's no way that can be true. There is no way you're famous. How arrogant of you to even say something like that. You should be ashamed of yourself. Only hardworking people can claim that they do well. Not people who stay at home all day doing nothing.
I'm fine with you not believing me. You don't have to, and I'm not going to make you believe me. You can stay as you are with your head buried in the sand. You want to cut off any contacts and relations with me, right? Fine. From now on, I won't talk to you or anyone in your family.
Wait, let me get one thing straight first. You're really not just doing freelancing jobs from your house?
No, you had it right. I am doing freelance work from my house. I'm a designer and I can work wherever I want. I have a really nice setup at home, so I choose to work here. I can also spend more time with my kids if I work from home, so it's just better this way. But just because I'm freelance doesn't mean that my work isn't valued and I don't make any money. I don't like to talk about money this casually, but I make a lot more than what your husband does.
What? You make even more money than him? That's hard to believe. He makes a lot, after all. How much do you make?
I'm not really comfortable telling you exactly how much I make because it really shouldn't matter. It's just a fact that I want you to know because it seems to matter to you. I do make a lot of money, and so does my husband. I always thought that we were doing all right for ourselves and that there was no need to show off.
Why didn't anyone tell me that you make a lot of money? Why did you keep it a secret?
You never asked me, so I never had a reason to tell you. Again, I'm not comfortable talking about money like that, and it really isn't polite to ask what someone makes. You just jump to conclusions without even talking to me or trying to understand the facts.
I didn't. You said you worked from home, and people who work at home usually work small, little, nothing jobs.
Your ignorance is showing. Working from home is very common these days. In fact, more and more people are doing it. It's not that much different than working in an office building. I think it's better because we're not wasting time commuting every day when we could be using that energy and time working. There's no reason to look down on people who work from home. That way of thinking is very backward.
Okay. I think you said enough. You don't have to insult me like that. I just didn't know, alright? Anyways, it's fine.
What do you mean, it's fine?
It's fine if your kids want to play with mine now that you've made it clear that you aren't poor after all. So let's just forget about this whole thing.
Oh, is it fine now? Now that we've satisfied your arbitrary little conditions, we're also fine with not having to associate with you.
What? But I'm letting our children play together. Isn't that what you want?
Well, no. You see, once I say something, I don't take it back. I already said that we won't be fostering any relationships with you anymore. I don't want to have to deal with people like you.
What are you saying?
I meant everything that I said earlier. I'm canceling my contract with Jeffrey. I won't be doing business with him or his company any longer.
You better take that back. You can't do that.
And why not? You were the one that said you didn't want my family to be near yours. You wanted to cut us off first.
Well, things are different now. I didn't know what was going on back then. I didn't know that you worked with Jeffrey. He never told me about your contract. From the sound of it, your contract with him is quite important, and I can't let you change that. If you do, he's going to find out that I had something to do with it. It's not going to go well for me.
Oh, so you knew what you were doing is bad? I thought you had no self-awareness at all with the way that you've been acting. I guess I learned something new today, too. Of course I'm going to explain everything that happened today to your husband. It wouldn't be proper business etiquette if I canceled our contract without an explanation. It would make it seem like I was the one without any manners.
I said stop it! Are you having fun tormenting me like this?
No, I'm not tormenting you. I'm just telling you exactly how things are going to happen next. In fact, I'm not doing anything to you at all. I'm sure you had a good time talking about and making fun of me and the other mothers who work from home. But I don't like laughing at the expense of others. Speaking of working, you might need to look for a job soon and start working yourself.
What? I can't do that. I promised myself that I would never have to work again, ever for the rest of my life. I don't want to do it. Please, do me a really big favor and let's just keep all of this to ourselves. It was just an innocent misunderstanding. It could happen to anyone.
I don't think so. I should probably tell everyone what you said about the potluck lunch as well.
No, you can't!
Everyone will be so shocked that you would rather spend the money on yourself than your children's education. I'm sure Jeffrey would be interested in knowing where his money really goes as well, and that his children are often left on their own in the park. Don't worry. I'll be sure to tell him right after I tell him why I have to cancel our contract.
All right. You better stop messing around. You can't say that to him. I'm a good wife and mother. I've spent years creating and building that image for myself. I can't have you destroy what I worked so hard on just by running your mouth. I won't let you get away with it. I'll make you pay.
Oh? Is that a threat? What do you plan to do about it?
I'm going to spread the nastiest rumors about you to everyone in the community. You won't be able to show your face around here again once I'm done with you.
Is that it? That's very juvenile. I stopped worrying about rumors after high school.
What are you trying to say?
Jeffrey is about to lose a really big contract with me very soon, and that's going to set off a domino effect for his company. He's probably going to be reprimanded. It might even cost him his job. Everything will be your fault. Do you understand that?
No! Shut up! That can't happen.
Oh, and for the rumors that you were going to spread about me. Didn't you do that already? You told everyone that we were poor. But did you not realize? No one cared. Do you want to know why? Because they already knew that you were lying because they knew my actual job.
What? How could everyone know?
Unlike you, the other people have taken their time to get to know me. I've even given a few of them my business card. Anyway, I wonder how Jeffrey is going to react after I tell him everything. I imagine he's not going to be very happy. He'll probably be pretty angry to find out that you don't really care about your children. He might even start thinking about separating. I think that would be for the best that he does.
Separating? What on earth are you talking about? My husband and I are going to raise the children together as a team.
Is that what you think? Because from what he just told me, he's not thinking that same thing.
How do you know what he thinks? Oh my goodness. Are you talking to him now? What did he say?
He called me to confirm the time and place of our meeting tomorrow. So while I had him on the phone, I told him everything that you and I talked about. He's heading over here after work to apologize to me for your behavior. He seems to be very tired of your antics. He said something about this being the last straw.
No! You're lying. You have to be. He can't leave me.
I'm being serious. I also don't like to lie. I also don't have a reason to lie to you. I've always been honest.
Then could you tell him to forgive me? It's still not too late. We can fix this. Please help me. Tell him that it was just a small misunderstanding between you and me.
Really? I just said that I don't like lying. I don't find there is ever a need to lie. Besides, there's nothing in it for me to help you, so I have no need to do what you say.
Please, you have to help me. We're friends. Our children are friends. Do it for them.
You're going to invoke the children now? You said you didn't want your kids to be friends with filthy kids like mine, and now you want to try and use them as a shield? All you've done was talk badly about me and my family.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for doing that. I won't do it again.
You've called me poor just because I work from home, and you tried to spread nasty rumors about me to turn the community against my family. Now you're going to find out what it's truly like to have money problems. I hope everyone is kinder to you than you were to me. As promised, Jeffrey came over that night to apologize to me for Molly's behavior. Molly frantically tried to make excuses for herself, but Jeffrey wasn't having any of it. More than the trouble she caused with his work. He was furious about the fact that Molly wasn't looking after the children properly. He was resolute in getting a divorce as soon as possible. He told Molly to pack whatever she could fit in 2 suitcases and kicked her out of their home. Jeffrey ended up getting full custody of the children when he told the family court about Molly's neglect. My children and Jeffrey's children remained friends and weren't aware about what was going on between the adults. I didn't hold it against Jeffrey about what Molly did to me. I didn't really cancel our contract, and we continue to have a good business relationship. From the way that things have been going, it doesn't seem like Jeffrey regrets getting the divorce. Molly, on the other hand, lost everything that night. She lost her friends, her home, and her family. All she had were 2 suitcases full of her clothes and other possessions. She had to find a job and start working for a living. From what I heard, she was working at a burger shop for a little bit, but the managers had to constantly get on her case to stop her from slacking off. She fell into a pattern of quitting after being reprimanded just once. She never lasted longer than 2 weeks per job. Because of her unstable lifestyle, she hasn't even been granted visitation rights to see her children. I think I saw her once when I was out, but I barely even recognized her. Her hair was all frazzled and she looked really tired. As for me, my life has become a lot better now that I don't have someone gossiping about me behind my back. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.